Worrying Shedeur Sanders update casts doubt over his NFL future as quarterback cut decision looms. Doubt has been cast over Shedeur Sanders' future at the Cleveland Browns after inside information was reportedly revealed. The 2025 fifth-round pick Sanders has a chance of being let go by the Browns this summer. Sanders, who was expected to be a first-round pick, experienced one of the most glaring NFL draft slides of all time when he was picked no. 144 overall. The Colorado Buffaloes product was the fifth quarterback taken in last month's draft. And Sanders wasn't even the first signal caller taken by the Browns, who picked left-hand quarterback Dillon Gabriel in the third round. The 23-year-old is part of a crowded Browns quarterback room, which also includes Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel, and the injured Deshaun Watson. While Cleveland have publicly stated their willingness to roster 4 quarterbacks this season, many around the league expect one of the signal callers to be traded this summer. And according to former Bengals wide receiver T.J. Houshmandzadeh, Sanders is not even in the running to win the starting job. Houshmandzadeh said on the Nightcap podcast, "I was told from somebody that is in the building that it's really coming down to Kenny Pickett or Dillon Gabriel. That's what I was told. But now, when you get the reports that Shedeur's completing 7 out of 9 passes, is it against starters or is it against the 3s and the 4s, the guys that are going to get released? So it seems impressive when you see the graphic, but is it really? If it's not against the starters or guys that are going to be on the team? During a minicamp practice on June 10th, Sanders reportedly completed 10 of 12 passes and threw 2 touchdowns. Additionally, Cleveland.com/Bostock said after observing minicamp that Sanders was 4th in the quarterback pecking order, behind Pickett, Gabriel, and Flacco in that order. Meanwhile, NFL reporter James Palmer spoke about Sanders' future with the Browns. "Fifth-round picks are not a lock to make the roster, so no, I don't think he is 100% a lock," Palmer said on a Bleacher Report live stream. "I think he has one of the highest-selling jerseys in the NFL right now." I think that sometimes play a part. Popularity, I hate to say it, but it does oftentimes, especially in the eyes of owners. After expecting to be a first-round selection on the opening night of April's NFL draft, the young quarterback was made to wait until Saturday afternoon before a team came in. Sanders' plunge in the NFL draft came after he chose not to throw for teams at the Combine and reportedly rubbed teams the wrong way during interviews. And aside from the tricky situation Sanders now finds himself in, his draft freefall also cost him financially. He signed a 4-year, $4.60 million deal that included his $447,000 67.0 signing bonus, which represents the only guaranteed portion of the deal. The lights of the stadium never blink, but behind their glare, a different kind of drama unfolds. Quiet, uncertain, and increasingly tense. In the heart of Colorado, amidst roaring chants and hype reels, a storm brews, not in the sky, but in the narrative of a quarterback who was once seen as the future of the game, Shedeur Sanders. Son of NFL Hall of Famer and head coach Deion Sanders, Shedeur arrived at Colorado as more than just a player. He was a symbol, a revolution in cleats. He made headlines with his arm strength, poise, and football IQ. But the noise that once amplified his stardom now carries an anxious undertone, one that questions his readiness for the next level. With whispers of potential cuts and troubling updates from within the team camp, the sheen of certainty around Shedeur's NFL future begins to dull. The worrying update didn't come with flashing red alerts. It trickled in subtly, almost poetically. A few missed throws in practice, a visible dip in confidence, and a slight reluctance to run, an uncharacteristic conservatism for a player known to challenge defenders. Coaches, insiders, and scouts began to notice. And when coaches notice, so do front offices. And when front offices start asking questions, futures hang in the balance. At the core of the storm lies a conundrum. Shedeur Sanders is undeniably talented. His pocket presence, mechanics, and leadership echo someone meant to carry a franchise. But in the NFL, potential is a double-edged sword. It can either elevate or destroy, depending on when and how it's unleashed. Some analysts suggest his recent downturn is physical. "He's playing hurt," one scout confided anonymously. "There's something he's not telling us." And that you can see it in his dropbacks, favoring one leg, throwing off balance. Others think it's mental. the weight of expectation, the pressure of being both a son and a quarterback magnified under the nation's microscope. But then there's another theory, more philosophical, more nuanced. Maybe Shedeur is stuck in the liminal space between college stardom and professional survival. In college, his flair, his deep throws, his command of the tempo made him a highlight machine. But the NFL is not a mixtape league. It is brutal, calculated, and mercilessly unromantic. There are no easy defenses, no games to pad stats, no guarantees. What makes this even more complex is his coach's father. Shedeur Sanders primetime himself has never been shy about defending his son, even weaponizing media narratives to paint him as a future NFL star. But in football, love does not write contracts, nor does it win games. At some point, even Dion has to step aside and let Shedeur be judged not as his son, but as a quarterback, under the harsh scrutiny of the draft board. This brings us to the looming cut decision. Most NFL prospects worry about where they'll go in a draft. Shedeur, however, might soon be facing an entirely different kind of reckoning, whether he'll even get a serious shot. A string of shaky performances during training and camp scrimmages has put him on the radar, not as a gem, but as a question mark. Teams are reevaluating, backups are outplaying him. Meanwhile, the clock ticks. In another universe, this would just be a slump. But football isn't played in alternate universes. It's played here, on fields where every inch is earned and every doubt is counted. Yet, even in this grim scenario, there lies a twist of potential redemption. What if this is the storm before the sunrise? Every quarterback worth his career has had to face a moment like this. A point of decision. Joe Burrow was once doubted. Jalen Hurts was benched in a championship game. Even Tom Brady was passed over until he became a dynasty. Maybe this worrying moment for Shedeur isn't a decline, but a forge, a crucible to test his mettle. Maybe the narrative is being written too soon, as they so often are in sports. Perhaps the kid still has another chapter in him, one that flips the script entirely. Maybe the cut doesn't come. Maybe it does, and it ignites him. That's the thing about football. Its beauty lies not just in the passes and plays, but in the comebacks. The story's rewritten, the career's resurrected. And maybe, just maybe, Shedeur Sanders isn't at the end of his road, but standing at a sharp, pivotal bend. For now, the stadium lights stay on. The quarterback sits in the locker room, lacing his cleats, knowing eyes are watching and stories are swirling. Whether he silences the doubt or succumbs to it will define more than his draft stock. It will define his legacy. Because in the NFL, you don't just play the game. You fight for the right to stay in it.